To me, literacy means the ability to read, write, and do basic arithmetic to have lifelong opportunities.
Personally, I think the context of literacy is this transient from people just knowing and understanding to being able to put what they need to use basically.
I believe literacy is the foundation for lifelong learning and opportunities.
The ability to read, to understand, to comprehend what you're being taught, and to be able to communicate with your world, to understand your world, and interact with people.
Having the basic skills to read and write, and essentially using it to access the digital world.
Okay, so I would say the biggest barrier is lack of access to quality early years education and professionals like teachers.
Truth is, barrier, if we're looking at our context in Nigeria, we're looking at access. And personally for me, I've always come from a standpoint that access rather would have to do with costs and geography. And what that means is that in some certain locations, cost of education is minimal. In other locations, the cost of education is out of reach. And so different persons living in different contexts would be faced with the challenge of access. So I think in a context like Nigeria, in order to be able to achieve education for all, we have to look at access, which would be streamlined rather to cost and geography.
I believe is the issue of digital divide in Nigeria. There are so many people in rural areas who do not have access to digital devices and also internet, which is a major barrier to their literacy, especially in digital literacy.
Underfunding, there needs to be more funding that should go into education, particularly early childhood education, because the foundational stage of a child's life is very important. And if we get literacy in those areas, I mean, it can amount to lifelong learning and all of that. So I think the biggest barrier to achieving literacy in Nigeria will be underfunding.
I think the biggest barrier is a lack of access to quality education in the foundational years of the kids.
Okay, I think technology and innovations such as fast track can help children read faster than ordinarily because fast track, for example, it's mobile, it's offline, and then it can reach even communities that are disconnected and help children read in a fun and engaging way.
Fast track program, for example, that children read faster by using digital tools that are fun and interactive for them to read and understand.
Truth is, we've seen evidences that fast track works as regards to literacy. That is, we have stories that people who could only read simple letters or read sentences can now do that. So there are evidences, and the truth is, what we need now is to build more on the evidences that already work, basically. So I am always of the opinion that if we're looking to scale anything, whatever works in context A should be modified or should be able to modify to also work in context B. And so if we're looking at technology and existing mediums on how to approach literacy, if there's evidence that it can work in a certain context, then you should be able to modify to also work in another context, right?
Innovations like fast track is actually genius, because it's able to reach children in hard to reach areas. I mean, children that have been displaced, like refugees, that have missed years of schooling, to actually learn in just a few weeks, like the things they have missed, how to read, how to write, and all of that. It helps them to gain foundational skills in reading and writing. So I think that technology actually helps to bridge that gap.
Okay, president for one day. Okay, so I think that if I become president for one day, if I'm given the chance to become president for one day, I would make sure that every community, especially those in the rural areas, have access to equipped library and also learning hubs for them.
I would strengthen partnership with experts and organizations such as AREAi to continuously improve foundational learning, especially for public schools that we have children who are in school but are not learning, to ensure that our foundational learning outcomes are improved.
I'm going to invest in early childhood education when I was president for one day and ensure that children are getting quality education, and not just any kind of education, quality and functional education that will promote lifelong learning.
It's not something I've extensively thought about, but currently we have policies like education for all, but implementation is what is lacking, and follow up basically. So I don't think we lack policy as a nation. What we lack is investment and follow up basically. If we can have appropriate investment and then people to checkmate at every point that we do what we say they are doing, basically, I think we'll be able to eradicate literacy in Nigeria in the next 10 years, basically. So I don't think it's a policy issue. I think it's a follow-up, like a checkmate and investment issue.
I think that the efforts of certain programs, for like the Fast Track program, that helps kids read in just a few weeks, give me so much hope that could actually still achieve this thing.
Working in the IDP camps where we work, and I see the children that we work with, and then how our program actually help them to gain foundational skills, it gives me hope, and it just let me know that if we can reach more children with this kind of programs, then Nigeria can actually achieve literacy for every single child.
Okay, a lot of things give me hope, and one of it I would say is the resilience of the Nigerian children. They are very eager to learn and also very able to adapt in situations like that and give in their all into learning. So I believe that's one thing that gives me hope, the eagerness in their eyes. And one thing is, I believe this 2025, there are a lot of initiatives out there that are actively trying to promote literacy in different ways, especially digital literacy, like the DSA program by AREAi now that is actively promoting digital literacy for women and girls, and there are initiatives by NITDA that is trying to promote digital literacy for all. So I believe if every one of us as citizens of the country are putting in effort one way or the other to promote this actively, so we are making progress one by one and it's not like a burden into one entity. So each of our individual contributions are one thing that contributes to the larger goal of digital literacy.
Well, I think people like me, personally, I would always tell anyone that gets to listen that I don't think I believe anyone else, except for maybe education and maybe at the meetings and conferences and all that. But Nigeria is my home, and I believe there's much work to be done. And with the people like me who see that Nigeria can be better, that's something that still keeps me working at the end of the day, basically. So that's no one particular ideology, just people who are intentional about solving problems, which I see myself as one. If we have 10, 20, 30%, progress might be slow, but certainly we'll get there.
My name is Uteojo Abraham and I support literacy for all.
My name is Tumino Opeanyotayo and I support literacy for all.
My name is Siri Sebekbagende and I support literacy for all.
My name is Elizabeth Abikoye and I support literacy for all.
My name is Omani Lawson and I support literacy for all.